There was another meeting tonight within Outagamie County. This one, the Town of Grand Chute Board met to consider rehiring Administrator Jim March, but the motion failed 3-2. March was initially fired back on May 2nd. Samantha Cavalli attended the meeting and has more on why the board decided to take another vote, and the moment's 3 supervisors were served.
During its meeting Tuesday evening, the Grand Chute Town Board discussed the possibility of rehiring Administrator Jim March after voting to fire him on May 2nd. Several members of the public who attended and spoke were in favor of bringing March back, saying he did great things for the town of Grand Chute.
I am sure that one of the first questions the consultant will ask is, why was the previous township manager terminated? Your answer will probably be one that they do not hear very often. He did an exemplary job.
Tonight's agenda item comes after newly elected Supervisor Beth English, during a board meeting May 16th, explained that her decision to vote in favor of terminating March was an attempt to spare the town from expensive and lengthy litigation, and she felt she was uneducated on the situation.
This isn't really what representative government should look like. We are a board of supervisors. We should be sharing information to make decisions for the town. So while I understand the need for confidentiality when negotiating personnel matters, this goes beyond just the confidential, and it really borders on secrecy, and this town deserves better.
Late last week, March filed a federal lawsuit against the town of Grand Chute and 3 board supervisors alleging wrongful termination. Each supervisor was served the lawsuit as they walked into Tuesday's meeting.
I don't know if the closed session is the place to be when you're handed a lawsuit from somebody. I know what my attorney would say, shut up. So I don't know what this closed session is going to accomplish, and I'm not going to speak about it because that's what an attorney would tell me to do.
The federal complaint states March's performance wasn't an issue and no reason was provided for his termination.
I would simply ask and strongly recommend the 3 of you recuse yourself until this situation and lawsuit is resolved. You're not guilty. I'm not saying you're guilty. What I'm saying is, in the best interest of the town, you need to step aside and let this process run its course.
Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News, Grand Chute.
The Grand Chute Town Board came back from closed session about 9:30 tonight. They have contracted Public Administration Associates LLC with recruiting the new town administrator. In the meantime, that company will provide the board with an interim administrator until one can be found.